I was 35 years old, divorced, tired, and holding my life together with trembling fingers and late-night prayers that never seemed to get answered. People used to tell me I was strong, but strength isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's dragging yourself out of bed when your body begs you to stay down. Sometimes it's smiling at your child when all you want to do is cry. I worked two jobs not because I was ambitious, not because I was building some grand future, but because survival had become my full-time occupation. By day, I sat behind a bank counter, plastering a smile on my face while customers barked complaints. By night, I hunched over spreadsheets as a freelance bookkeeper, eyes burning, fingers numb, all of it. For Liam, my 10-year-old boy with big eyes, an even bigger heart, and dreams I couldn't afford but refused to let him give up. We didn't have much, a tiny apartment with peeling walls and a heater that coughed more than it warmed, 2 mattresses, mine and his, a second-hand fridge that groaned louder than it cooled, but in that cold, cracked corner of the world, we had each other. I remember one winter night, bitter cold. After a 12-hour shift, I walked in with frozen hands, dropped my bag, and saw something written on our little whiteboard in shaky, childish handwriting. Mom, I wish you smiled more. You look tired. I love you. That message broke me, not in front of him, never in front of Liam, but later curled up on the bathroom floor, biting my fist so I wouldn't make a sound. I shattered. Because he wasn't wrong. I didn't smile. I didn't laugh. I barely lived. I existed. I endured. But I wasn't okay. And the worst part wasn't the poverty, or the aching loneliness, or the exhaustion that crawled into my bones every night. No, the worst part was Caleb. Just saying his name now stirs something bitter in my throat. My brother, my only sibling, my childhood shadow turned adult storm. He was 39 then, 4 years older, 10 times louder, and light years more manipulative. Growing up, Caleb could do no wrong. He was the golden boy, the funny one, the charming one, the one who made everyone laugh, even as he made their lives harder. He crashed 3 cars before he was 20, burned through loans, lied to girlfriends, missed family birthdays, and somehow always came out smelling like roses. He had that thing, the ability to twist any situation into his favor. A silver tongue coated in fake apologies and well-timed smirks. And me? I was the cleanup crew, the emotional janitor, the one who stayed behind to explain away his mistakes. To reassure our parents. To pick up pieces that weren't even mine. When I got pregnant at 24 and the father vanished, it was me they judged. Not Caleb for gambling away his college fund. Not Caleb for showing up to Christmas drunk 3 years in a row. Just me, the irresponsible one. So when mom and dad died in that sudden car crash, part of me, the part too tired to pretend anymore, thought, maybe now I'll be seen. Maybe now I'll be enough. But grief doesn't heal wounds. Sometimes it slices deeper. Caleb didn't cry at the funeral. Not once. While I could barely speak through the eulogy, Caleb was in the corner, talking to an attorney friend about estate matters. He didn't even wait a week. 3 days after we buried our parents, he showed up at my apartment. No flowers. No condolences. Just a manila folder and a sickeningly sweet smile. Yell, he said, using the nickname only he ever got away with. I know you've got Liam and work and everything. I'll handle the paperwork for the house, okay? Just sign this, it's standard stuff. Keeps things tidy. I remember looking at him, my brother, blood of my blood, and feeling, for a split second, something close to gratitude. I was grieving. I was exhausted. And I trusted him. I signed. I didn't read the fine print. Didn't ask questions. Didn't suspect betrayal. I should have. Because 3 weeks later, a brown envelope arrived at my door. No return address. Inside, an official eviction notice. I laughed. I actually laughed. Thought it was a mistake, a scam. I called Caleb immediately. He picked up, chewing gum, like this was just another day. Oh yeah, about that, he said casually. You're not on the deed anymore. Technically, you're trespassing. Excuse me? I said, my voice shaking with disbelief. Yeah. I transferred full ownership. Don't freak out, it's all legal. I need to rent the place out for income. You're evicting me? It's not personal, Yell. It's just business. That night, I packed our entire life into 5 trash bags. Liam sat quietly on the edge of the bed, his Spider-Man backpack clutched to his chest like a shield. I don't understand, Mom, he whispered. I didn't either, but I couldn't let him see me break again. So I told him we were going on a new adventure. We slept on a friend's couch for 2 weeks, then a cheap studio. 1 room. No privacy, no space, no heat. I worked harder, longer. I skipped meals so Liam wouldn't have to. I hand-washed his school uniform at night and dried it with a hairdryer we borrowed. I cried once hard after finding Liam asleep on the floor next to his math homework, using my coat as a pillow. But then, I remembered the voicemail. A week before the eviction, Caleb had left me a voicemail. I almost deleted it, but something made me keep it. Hey Yell, just wanted to say don't stress about the paperwork. You're still part owner on paper, okay? This is just a tax thing. Chill. That message became my lifeline. I took it to a legal aid clinic downtown, crowded, underfunded, noisy but filled with warriors. I sat across from a paralegal named Joy. Her name didn't match her expression, sharp, fierce, unblinking. She listened, read every document I had, played the voicemail twice, then looked me in the eye and said the words that flipped my whole world upside down. You've got a case. A real case. I felt something in my chest for the first time in months. Hope. Not the naive kind, but the kind that smells like gasoline and fire. The kind that burns back. The legal fight began slowly, not with courtroom fireworks, but with paper cuts and patience. Joy and her team at the clinic moved like chess players, precise, methodical, deadly when cornered. They dug through documents, traced Caleb's signature trail, and cross-referenced the voicemail with the dates on the quitclaim deed. And then, they found it. A loophole. No, a lie, a blatant manipulation. Caleb had filed the house transfer without my full consent, forged an updated version of the form that changed my portion of ownership. It was subtle, slippery, the kind of deception that hoped no one would notice. But Joy noticed. I remember her calling me one Thursday afternoon, her voice laced with quiet victory. He altered legal documents. That's fraud, Eleanor. You didn't just get tricked. You got robbed. My heart raced. Can we undo it? We're not just undoing it, she said. We're taking it back with interest. For the first time in months, I smiled. The next weeks were a blur of appointments, affidavits, and cautious hope. I moved with purpose again, no longer just surviving, but preparing. Every night, I would tuck Liam into bed, then stay up an extra hour reviewing legal notes by the dim light of our single lamp. He started asking questions. Why are you reading so much, Mom? I'm fighting for something, baby. Like in Star Wars? I smiled. Exactly like that. Meanwhile, Caleb was unraveling. I didn't speak to him, but I heard things. That he'd tried to rent the house, but backed out of contracts. That he'd borrowed money from old friends and ghosted them. That he showed up at our cousin Tina's doorstep drunk, demanding she talk to Yell. He even emailed me once. Subject: let's just move on. Hey, I think we both need to let this go. It's just a house. Come on, Yell. You're being petty. Petty. He called me petty after he stole my home, lied to me, and left me homeless with a child. I didn't respond. I saved the email. Joy printed it out and smiled. He's hanging himself with his own words. While the legal case simmered, life kept moving. Our studio apartment was cold, small, and smelled of mold, but it was safe. Liam adjusted better than I did. He started drawing again. Silly things at first. Dragons, rockets, superheroes, then houses, always houses. One day, I noticed he had drawn a house with 2 figures inside, one tall, one small, and above it, a sentence in messy colored pencil. No one can kick us out this time. I nearly sobbed, but I held it in, because he needed my strength more than my sadness. 3 months later, just before sunrise on a Saturday, there was a knock at our door. Caleb, he looked ruined, bloodshot, eyes, greasy hair, one shoe untied. Hey, he muttered. Can we talk? I stepped outside, closing the door behind me. What do you want? I asked, flat and cold. His voice trembled. The house. It's in foreclosure. I couldn't keep up with the taxes. I need $15,000 to stop it. I blinked. You stole my house, evicted me, and now you're begging me for help? He nodded slowly. My lips curled into something not quite a smile. You're going to sell it to me. What? Sell it cheap, or let the bank take it. Either way, you're losing it. He stared at me, confused, cornered, desperate. You don't have 15,000. I do now. What I didn't say was that I had scraped it together from every dusty corner of my life savings. Bonuses, even the tiny ring I had kept after my divorce, gone. Because I wasn't buying a house, I was reclaiming everything. The transaction happened 2 weeks later. clean, legal, irrefutable. The house, the one I grew up in, the one he stole, was mine again, under my name, on my terms, with no manipulation, no secrets, and no mercy. When I brought Liam back to it, our real home, he stood in the living room and spun in a slow circle. It smells the same, he said. I crouched down and looked into his eyes. Want to paint your room green this time? His whole face lit up. Can I paint the ceiling green too? You can paint the whole sky green if you want. We laughed, really laughed for the first time in what felt like years. We began to rebuild, not just the house, ourselves. We scrubbed the walls, planted marigolds by the windows, hung up drawings and memories. We turned trauma into color. Liam slept peacefully. I did too. And for the first time in a long time, I felt safe. Time passed. Not a lot, just enough for the seasons to shift and the marigolds to bloom. Enough for silence to replace survival. Enough for a broken woman to feel whole again. Liam started sleeping through the night. No more bad dreams. No more jumping at loud noises. His laughter returned, first in short bursts, then in full, body-shaking joy. I started sleeping too, not with one eye open, not with the weight of fear crushing my chest. Just sleep. Deep, honest, restful. I'd sip tea on the porch after work and watch him paint. Sometimes he'd hum. Sometimes he'd just look at the sky like it had secrets to tell. We were healing. We were home. Then he came back, Caleb, like a storm no one invited. He didn't knock this time. He banged. Loud. Aggressive. His voice echoing across the porch like he still owned the land. You think you're better than me now? Just 'cause you have your little house and your little job? I opened the door and stood still. He was swaying slightly, alcohol clinging to his breath like an old friend. Eyes wild, angry. But I wasn't afraid. Not anymore. I stepped onto the porch calmly. Between him and the house. Between his chaos and our peace. No, Caleb, I said, my voice steady. I don't think I'm better than you. He smirked, already ready to throw the next insult. But I know I'm free. That shut him up, completely. Because for the first time, he saw it. He saw the change in me. That I was no longer the emotional janitor. No longer the doormat. No longer the little sister desperate for love. I was a wall now, and he could no longer climb over me. He backed away slowly, no clever comebacks, no fake tears, just silence. And then he left. Not just the yard, but eventually. My life. A year passed. A whole year of normal. I started therapy. Liam joined an art class. We had pancakes every Sunday and movie nights every Friday. Our fridge was always full, not just of food but of drawings, magnets, and notes like, "You're my hero, Mom." One rainy Tuesday, my cousin Tina messaged me on Facebook. "Did you hear? Caleb's living in a motel. Nobody's helping him. He burned every bridge." I read the message 3 times. Then, I made a cup of tea, sat on the porch, watched Liam doodle on the edge of his sketchbook. I didn't reply. I didn't gloat, because I didn't feel vengeful. I felt free. Then came the art fair. Liam had been selected to showcase one of his pieces, a house surrounded by sunshine and marigolds, with 2 stick figures inside. He was proud, and so was I. We stood beside his artwork, holding cups of lemonade and watching people pass. A woman paused in front of the painting and smiled. "That's a happy home." Liam nodded, eyes bright. We fought for it. I couldn't speak, because what do you say when your child sums up your entire soul in 5 words? That night, I tucked him and kissed his forehead and turned to leave, but he stopped me. "Wait, Mom." He handed me a folded piece of paper. Inside was another drawing, a woman and a child, standing in a house. The woman wore a tiny crown on her head. "You're the queen now," he whispered. I bit my lip to hold back the tears, because I realized I hadn't just rebuilt a home. I had rebuilt myself. Moral lesson rewritten for expanded version. Sometimes, the people who share your blood will break you harder than any enemy ever could. But pain is not the end of your story. You don't need revenge to win. You don't need rage to rise. What you need is clarity, boundaries, and the kind of power that grows in silence, in the steady rebuilding of your soul. You don't need to prove anything to the people who betrayed you. You just need to remember, this ends with me.